to Music Matters Podcast. I am thrilled to welcome Dr. MacLeod and Dr. Napoles to the show today. These lovely ladies are smart and wonderful, and hi.
Hi.
We're happy to be here.
I'm so glad you guys agreed. I have read your book cover to cover, laughed, cried again, smiled, got tons of ideas. But before we dive into the book, I think our listeners deserve to know who you are and where you came from. So who wants to go first?
I'll start. So I am associate professor of choral music education at the University of North Texas. And I was a student of Cliff's for all 3 degrees at Florida State University.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm Brecca MacLeod. I'm professor of music education at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. And my specialty area is string education. And I was at Florida State from 2001 to 2006. And actually, Jessica and I were there at the same time, and was a student of Cliff Madsen during that time.
I know both of you guys before now because I was a student at Florida State in 2008, and y'all's writings were our examples. So I have old photocopy stapled of both of y'all's from all these different classes that were given as examples of how. I want to ask 2 more questions just because someone who I would love to do a big project like this one day. What are some thoughts that you're giving to someone listening right now who's thinking, there's something I'm passionate about. I would love to have some type of project, whether that's an article, an archival project, a book, something linear or nonlinear. What are your tips for someone starting a project?
I'll start by saying the first thing is to have some topic that you really are passionate about. I mean, even when it's that, and even when it is something you're passionate about, it's going to be a lot of hard work. There are going to be some moments where you really are just questioning whether you know anything, whether you have any business doing this project. And so the first thing is to have something that's really going to sustain you, because across that time period, it's going to be important that you're really committed to it in that way. The other thing that I would say is it's really important for people when they think about what their goal is to have a little bit of mercy with yourself and have a little bit of compassion, because there are going to be so many times when things don't look like you think they ought to, or you'll have a bump in the road and then there you go, like you're stopped for a year and you just think, I just don't think this is going to get finished. So having a little bit of compassion and having a little bit of mercy with yourself to know that things are going to shift what they look like, and therefore kind of that patience element of seeing it through. It's important.
Okay, so our last question, because I hate to see it end, but people have a book they can read now. What is one thing or a few things that you want the listener to walk away from reading this book with? What is your hope or your heart behind it?
I think one of the things that's important for us to know and share with others is that transfer of knowledge is important. And Cliff spent his whole career trying to get others to think in terms of transferring, and that understanding something, there's not enough time. It's not time efficient for us to think through, I'm going to teach every possible thing that can happen, but it is possible for you to grow your own world if you can simply think through all of the variations of this also applies in this setting. This also is a situation where I might be able to apply what I learned in this other context into this one.
Teach into the transfer. Could you define transfer for anyone who's never done a transfer?
Sure. First, like, who's going to define transfer? Transfer is the ability to take a concept from one context and put it into another. And so, you know, in the earlier days when they were finding out that people have so much trouble transferring knowledge, you know, they would take the simple principle of how to complete a circuit for engineering students. And, you take a little light bulb and a wire and a battery, and you say, light the light bulb with the battery. And it's a simple experiment anyone should be able to do. But if you don't actually understand the principle, you can have someone who's become quite advanced in their career and they still don't understand the major foundational concept. And so the idea of transfer is being able to take an idea and replicate it in a variety of situations.
Just like your all's project, we can take what you guys have learned in this massive 5-year project and transfer it to whatever project we have in our box of ideas and dreams. Rebecca, is there something that you want the reader and the listener to know about this book?
I think that one of the most important lessons I learned from Clifford Madsen, I think it comes out in the book, is the importance of kindness, and that it's more important to be kind and to be nice than it is to be any other thing. And most academics become very fixated on the academic, the intellectual, the knowledge piece. And I think what I learned from him was the focus on the love part. And not to say we didn't learn all those academic things, but because we did. But that idea of being kind. He would just repeat that so often. So transfer and be kind.
Perfect. Thank you both for your time. Thank you for writing this book. I will include a link for how to find it. There's an ebook version and the hard copy, and the hard copy fits great in a bag. It's not much bigger than your iPad, and it's full of much more information that is usable than your little iPad, if it's my own opinion there. Thank you so much for doing this, ladies. I hope that you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Emmy, and thanks for bringing us on and helping us share some news about somebody we love so much.
You're very welcome. The content is also great. He is a wonderful human, but the content is also really great. All right, I'm going to push stop.